In this video, we're going to talk about how to convert units from one unit to another, from your metric system to your metric system, from your English system to English system, and from your metric system to English system, and vice versa. But before we talk about converting things, we just want first to know what is the difference between your metric from your English system. Now, actually, your metric system has 7 base units, which is your length, your mass, your time, your temperature, your electric current, the amount of substance, and luminous intensity. So each of these units has actually base units. For your metric system, or for your length unit, we have the base unit of meters. For mass, we have your kilograms. For time, you have your seconds. For temperature, we have your Kelvin. For electric current, we have your ampere. For amount of substance, we have your mole. And for luminous intensity, we have your candela. But here, for your English system, we have a different symbol each for unit. For length, instead of having meter, we actually have the foot. For instead of having kilogram in your mass, we have the pound. But for time, we still have the same, which is your second. For temperature, we have a different one, which is your Fahrenheit or degrees Fahrenheit. For electric current, we have the same, which is your amperes, and with your amount of substance, which is your mole. And for your luminous intensity, we still have the same, which is your candela. So here is how we're going to convert from one unit to another. But for the benefit of this video, we're just going to convert your length, your mass, and time. But before we talk about how to convert from one unit to another, let's have first the common conversion factors. To start with the unit of length. Now, we all know that 1 kilometers is actually equivalent to 1,000 meters, and 1 meter equals to 100 centimeters or 39.4 inches. Now, hopefully you are trying to take notes. We also have 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. Now, these are some common conversion factors you want to keep in mind. Now let's have the unit of mass. For your unit of mass, we have first is your 1 kilograms, or 1 kilogram is actually equal to 1,000 grams or 2.20 pounds. And we also have your 1 gram is equal to 1,000 milligrams, and 1 ounce is actually equal to 28.35 grams. Okay, and let's have another set of units from your time. For your unit of time, we have 1 decade is actually equals to 10 years, and we all know that 1 year is actually equal to 365 days, and 1 day is actually equal to 24 hours, and 1 hour is actually equal to 60 minutes, and 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Now, these are some conversion factors that you need to know. Now let's try to convert some units. Now what if I say I want you to convert 731 kilometers to meter? Now how are we going to do that? Now, first thing to do, or first thing we have to identify, is the conversion factor that we need. And we all know that 1 kilometer is actually equals to 1,000 meters. Now, how we're going to apply this conversion factor to convert your 731 kilometers to meter? Now, I want to share some technique or a tip of mine of how I convert things. Now, basically, for me, I do have this given times your conversion factor. Now your given is actually, this is the provided value of unit to be converted. Now for our example, the given unit to be converted is your 731. Now your conversion factor, this is the applicable conversion factor for the problem. So for this one, we have the conversion factor of 1 kilometers or 1 kilometer to 1,000 meters. Now, how we're going to apply this conversion factor to convert 731 kilometers to meter? Now, applying this technique that I have given, let's try to do it. Now, first thing to do is to write what is given, which is actually your 731 kilometers over 1 times. Now, next, we write what is the conversion factor. Now, we have your conversion factor of 1 kilometers is equal to 1,000 meters. Now, which of these values should go on the top or should go on the bottom? Now, I want you to know, whenever we have same species or same kind of unit, they should be placed on opposite sides. So when we have a kilometers here, your kilometer here should be placed on the opposite side, which is on your bottom. Now let's try to do that. Now we have your kilometers here, and therefore your meters will be in the numerator. Now we all know that there is 1 kilometer in 1,000 meters. Now next thing to do is to cancel the same units located on both sides. Now for this example, we are going to cancel your kilometers and your kilometers because they are placed on opposite sides, so they can't be cancelled as long as they have the same unit. Now what is left here is your meter, and what we are looking for is also meter. Now the next thing to do is to times your 731 from your 1000. Now the answer should have 731,000 meters. So that's it. Now let's try to convert 126 grams to milligrams. Now first thing to do is to locate or to find the nearest possible conversion factor, and we all know that in every 1 gram there is also, or it is equal to 1,000 milligrams. Now the given is 126 grams, so let's try to bring it down. Of course, over 1 times. Now the conversion factor. Now again, which of these two units should come first? And we all know that we have grams here, and of course your grams should be placed on the down part, and therefore your milligrams should be placed here. Now we all know that in 1 gram we have 1,000 milligrams. Now next thing to do, of course, is to cancel all units that are the same. Now the thing that is left is your milligram, and what we are looking for is also milligram. So let's try to bring your milligrams here. Now again, multiply your 126 times 1000, then we should have 126,000 milligrams. So this is our final answer. Now in every 126 grams there is 126,000 milligrams. Now let's try to have some another example. Now what if I want you to convert 4 pounds into ounce? Now again, find the nearest possible conversion factor. Now we know that in 1 pound we actually have 453.54 grams, and in 1 ounce there is 28.35 grams. Now applying the rule, first rule is to bring down the given, and the given here is 4 pounds. So let's try to bring it down. 4 pound times or over 1 times the conversion factor. Now, which of these two should come first? The first one or the second one? Now, again, we have the pound here. And so we have to look first which of these two conversion factor have the pound. And we all know that it is on the first conversion factor. Now, let's try to bring down the first factor. Now, we all know that the pound should be placed on the bottom part and your grams should be on the upper part. Now, we also know that in 1 pound there is 453.54 gram. Now, next thing to do, of course, this conversion factor that is left. Now, we all know that the grams should be placed here, in your ounce should be placed here to cancel the grams. Now, we also know that in 28.35 grams, there is 1 ounce. Now, next thing to do is to cancel all units that are located on opposite sides and have the same unit, which is your pound, pound, grams, and grams. Now, next thing to do, of course, is to multiply these values. Then we should have 185,064 over, multiply also this value, 1 times 1 times 28.35, which is of course 28.35. Now let's try to divide this one. Then we should have the answer of 6,609.45 ounce. Then this is our final answer here. So in every 4 pounds, there is actually 6,609.45 ounce. Now let's try to have another example for the unit of time. Now I want you to convert 269 days into seconds. Now, first thing to do, of course, find the nearest conversion factor. Now we know that in 1 day we have 24 hours. And in 1 hour we actually have 60 minutes. And in 1 minute we have 60 seconds. Now, applying the rule, first bring down the given, which is actually your 265 or 269. Now, 269 days over 1 times next the conversion factor. Now, which of these three should come first? First, locate the conversion factor that have the day unit. Now, we actually know that it is here. Now, of course, we are going to first use this conversion factor. Now, again, the day should be located on the bottom part, and so your hour should be on the upper part. Now, we know that in 1 day we have 24 hours. Now, what is our next conversion factor? Now, you have to find any of this conversion factor that have the same unit of hours. Now, we know that it is on the second one. So let's try to bring it down. Of course, your hour should be placed on the bottom and your minute, therefore, on the upper part. Now, we know that in every 1 hour, there is 60 minutes. Now, of course, the last one, we know that the minute should be put on the bottom and the second should be on the top one. Now, in 1 minute, there is 60 seconds. Next thing to do, of course, is to cancel things, which is your day should be cancelled by day also, hours, minute, and minute. Now, the thing that is left is your second, and we're also looking for seconds. Now, let's try to multiply everything. Now, we should multiply this one, this one, this one, and this one. Now, we should get 23,241,600 over 1 because they're all 1. And if we're going to multiply all of the 1, it should have 1. So the answer here is that we have 23,241,600 seconds in 269 days. So that is our final answer. Now let's try to have another example. What if I want you to convert 12 kilometers per second to meter per hour. How about that? Because we are going to convert kilometer to meter and seconds to hour. How are we going to do that? First thing to do is again find all the nearest possible conversion factor. Now let's try to do it first with our unit of length, which is your kilometer and meter. Now we know that in 1 kilometer there is 1,000 meter. Okay, and we're good with that. Now let's go now with our unit of time. Okay, we know that in 1 hour there is actually 60 minutes, and in 1 minute we have 60 seconds. Now same rule applies. First, bring down the given, which is your 12 kilometer per second. No need to include 1 because the 1 is being replaced by your second. Now times. What conversion factor should we use first? Now again, look with the conversion factor that have kilometers, which is your first conversion factor. Now let's try to do that. We know that the kilometer should be placed here and your meter should be placed here. Now in 1 kilometer we have 1,000 meters. And next, what should we do next? We all know that we have to find meter in any of these two conversion factor, but we do not have any of it because we are done actually converting the unit of length. Because the thing here that is left is your meter, and what we are looking for is also your meter. Okay, so let's just leave it there. Now I want you to remember that when we are done of converting the first base unit, we should now undergo with the second base unit, which is our time, with seconds to hour. Now let's look on this one. Now which of this conversion factor have a seconds? And we all know this one. Now where should we put the seconds and a minute? Of course, they should be placed on opposite sides. So your seconds should be placed on the upper part and your minute should be placed on the bottom. So we all know that there is 1 minute in every 60 seconds. And of course, another conversion factor, which is your last. And we know that we have your minute here. And for this one, we also have the minute. So bring down the minute here and the hour here. So we all know that in 60 minutes, we have 1 hour. Now let's try to cancel everything. Kilometers to kilometers. And also seconds to seconds. Minutes to minutes. Okay, and what have left is your meter and your hour. And what we are looking for is actually your meter over hour. Now let's try to multiply everything. Now 12 times 1,000 times 60 times 60, and you should have 43,200,000. Now we know that they have the same value, which is 1. So 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 and 1. Okay, and the thing here is that bring down the unit that is left, which is your meter. And for the denominator, we have your hour. So basically, this is your final answer, or let's make it 43,200,000 meters per hour. So this is your final answer. So that is exactly how we convert one unit to another unit. So thank you for watching.